Welcome to the Philip Wiley Show. Take a look behind the curtain of professional hacking and hear compelling discussions with guests from diverse backgrounds who share a common curiosity and passion for challenges and their job. And now, here's your host, offensive security professional, educator, mentor, and author, Philip Wiley.
Hello and welcome to another episode. I'm very excited today to have Liron Mendel, one of my colleagues from CYE, joining today. She's works in product marketing, and I think this is a good topic to discuss because one of the things I like to do on my podcast, and I kind of with the Hacker Factory, I had Britt Kemp from Bishop Fox on. She's their community person, works in marketing, and does their social media. And, there's people that want to get into cybersecurity. There's a lot of opportunities, but some people don't realize that you can get in through marketing, social media marketing, and other areas. And product marketing is very important. I didn't learn about product marketing until my last job. I was working on a marketing team and got to work with the product marketing people and helped out in that area. And the messaging is really important to a product to really accurately define what the service or product is. And make sure it's, because some cases, if you don't do it correctly, then potential customers are not going to understand the product. And, it's going to lessen your chance of being successful. So I think it's a very important role, and it's getting more important as more product companies come about. And I think people are taking a more strategic approach to it because, people you're trying to sell to have limited time. They need the information in a quick and accurate format. So today I'm happy to welcome Liron. Hey, Liron.
Hi, happy to be here. How are you?
Good to have you. It was great to visit the headquarters recently. That was a fun visit.
Yeah, we were having like really good weather, and Tel Aviv is a hot spot. So
Yes,
definitely,
and
we were happy to have you.
yeah, good to be there. I look forward to next time. So why don't you kind of share your background, kind of how you got started and what you did to get to your current role in product marketing.
Cool. So actually, in my previous, I want to say life, I started actually in sales. I would build sales teams at the beginning for a big B2B company here in Israel. And then I started doing, my first roles in kind of marketing. And I think about 5 or 6 years ago, I got my first role in product marketing. Now, a lot of people don't really like when I say I'm in product marketing, they're like, okay, well, what's the difference between, like regular marketing and product marketing? So I kind of like to describe it as product marketing being the kind of bridge between product and marketing. There are organizations that, this role is under the marketing division, and there are companies where this role is, under the product team. So it's basically the team that is there to like kind of serve as a kind of a bridge between the product and the marketing. I've been at CYE and I'm in charge of the product marketing now for, I think, almost a year. And before that, I was also at Allot, which is like a cyber company. And before that, in a couple of local companies here in Israel. So yeah, I've been in product marketing for about, I think, 5-6 years. And yeah, it's great. I think it's the perfect match between people that, that they're really into technology, but they have like a base of a true marketeer, because you have the marketing side and then you have the more technical side. And it's a role that lets you kind of have and be in those two worlds, because it's also really technical, because you need to understand the product, and you need to understand the competition landscape. So yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting role because I've seen people too that have came from the technology side of things to be in product marketing, which is kind of interesting. So what are some of the skills that are helpful for someone in product marketing?
I think that a person needs to first, he really needs to like understand, I think, customers, because at the end of the day, my one of my main roles is to make sure that the product releases and the new products that we launch, that they are marketed effectively. And in order to do that, you have to be able to, understand your customer base really, really well, understand where they're coming from. You need to understand their pain points. You need to understand the market really well and the landscape really well in order to market effectively. So I think that something that would be really important to have is, kind of a natural curiosity to like know everything and find out everything. And, so I'm always like online looking at new threats, looking at the landscape, looking at new companies coming up. So you have to be really eager to learn. So I think like an eagerness to learn and understanding where the customers come from with a passion for technology. I think that those are like the really most important traits that you need to have when going into product marketing.
Very, very interesting. So with in your job, did the research part come easy for you? Or is this something that just took you time to develop?
No, I think it takes you time to kind of develop and figure out where are the right places that you need to kind of research and figure out kind of what time uh, is the best time to research on the different platforms. Like I could decide that right now I really want to engage like one-on-one, face-to-face with the customers. And then I would rather do my research, like, at recently I was at the London Expo at the Cyber Tech Show. So I was there and I wanted to get a feel for it. And, I walked the floor there speaking to CISO, speaking to tech leaders or from around the world to kind of find out what their true pain points are. And, and there would be other times when you're like, strategizing for like a new go-to market. So then you would do, more general research, high level research of the market, demographics, and whatever. So I think it kind of really depends on what your focus at the moment is. And then you kind of have to adapt the relevant research to what you're focusing on. So yeah, research is a huge part of it, especially when taking into consideration the competition landscape. That's a lot of research, especially since the landscape is so, kind of overflowed with cyber companies and tech companies. So it's a really important part.
Yeah, and that's one of the things too, I guess, when you're doing your competitive analysis, looking at the competition, I guess there's times you can see their messaging and kind of see where they're kind of failing to really communicate. And it looks like opportunities that someone in your role could leverage to help promote their brand better.
Yeah, definitely. It's also a way to that we can leverage it, but it also can be kind of I call it kind of a curse, because you see all of the different messaging and branding, and it gets to a point sometimes where everything starts to kind of look the same, feel the same, sound the same. But I think that one of the great things at Psy and with our platform Hyver is that we're doing something that I can't find anyone in the competition landscape that is doing cyber risk quantification in the way that we are. So for me, that's an exciting opportunity, especially since it's an upcoming category, and it's something that's like it's really trending now, and it's like kind of the like hot topic, but something that we've been doing for a long time now. So it's just a matter of getting the word out to the relevant people in the right ways.
Since you're working, your role is unique. It's not exactly marketing, but product marketing. You're kind of a liaison between the technical team and marketing. So you have to really understand the product. So what's kind of your part of the role from the marketing side? What are you doing from the marketing side to help the marketing team?
From the marketing side, my main focus is on, I think you would call it like kind of sales enablement. So having assets that at the end of the day kind of help your customer understand our value proposition, whether it be ebooks, whether it be content, whether it be explanatory videos. There are many different ways that you can kind of get your message across when doing product marketing. So we're trying anything and everything that is out there that could be relevant to our go-to market.
Very cool. So, some of the things that you're involved with, I know that CYE does, some writing, webinars. So you could kind of explain kind of how, product marketing is involved in those activities.
Definitely. So the interesting thing is when you're doing marketing for, a cybersecurity product, one of, I think, the most beneficial things that you can kind of do is have and interview interesting people in more technical kind of webinars that would interest our customers and customers that use our platform. So it could be anything from a technical workshop. It could be a webinar where we could have thought leadership around the subjects that interest CISOs and security leader teams. So those are the kind of webinars that we are trying to produce.
And one of the things I like that you do there too is, some companies, it's just, if they're doing a webinar, it's just a demo of their product, but it's really great that you're kind of, educating people, sharing, what you've learned with your audience, and not just trying to pitch a product. I think a great sales approach, and it's a win-win, is when you can show the need for the product, and the product will sell itself.
I completely agree. I think that one of the advantages that our platform does, because it eventually it also can be used as a tool that people can actually use in order to, again, talking about cyber risk quantification. One of the main advantages is that you can actually take all of this information and you can simplify it for the board, for the managers in the company, and kind of explain why it is you're doing what you're doing. So whenever you're doing product marketing for a tool that actually solves a deep problem that people are having, then your help. I feel like we're serving them more than like selling to them, if you kind of get what I mean. We're helping them solve that problem.
Yeah, and one of the things I see you solving too is a lot of cases people don't think about. In some cases is, people are trying to talk to the board, they're trying to talk to management, the different business groups, and they're trying to speak in technical terms, which they don't. But whenever you can do risk quantification, show them the risk, the impact, show them the financial impact, that really speaks to the business people a lot more than just giving them a bunch of technical jargon.
I completely agree. I think that that's one of the problems that CISOs and kind of security leaders in major companies are dealing with, because they have all of this technical information, and the boards and the people that they're speaking to, they don't have a clue. Most of the time, they just want to understand, like, are we secure? And if not, what do we need to do? And how exposed am I? And do you have ROI on what you're doing? So our platform, aside of all of the security benefits that it has, it's able to, one, serve as like kind of a mitigation overall planner that helps you with all of your different tools and, does the attack path routes and everything. But at the end of the day, it also helps you kind of show your board what you're doing and if you're exposed and what you need in order to mitigate it. And it actually shows you, let's say, a dollar sign on each and every asset that the company has. So yeah, that in itself, it sells itself, let's just say, because it's something, as I said before, that no one is doing to the extent that we are doing it.
Yeah, one of the things I have to comment on too is, the data that you have is basically red team data or penetration testing data that's brought into your SaaS-based platform and kind of displays this in a way that the business people, the CISO and the board can understand better. Because normally when you get a pen test report, the only thing usually there for the CISO management above is that executive summary. And, that really doesn't show business impact. That's really lacking a lot of data that's useful to them. So this is a way to take that same data and, explain it in a better format and give them kind of the information they need to get budget for remediation, to bring awareness to the impact. Sometimes people hear this certain vulnerability. What does that do? They really don't understand the impact. But when you start showing them how it impacts you from a financial perspective, and even when you can go into details like PCI fines, that's really good information.
Right. And they know what actually is at stake if something was to be breached. A lot of the times they don't actually understand. I don't think that within the board members that they actually understand the value of the damage. There are so many things that you need to take into consideration when you're talking about, kind of the crown jewels of each company. So it's not only like data leakage, but like all of the other collateral that goes with that, like your supply chain, for instance, or the damage that it does to your label, the damage that it does to your name. And there are so many things that need to come into place when trying to like put a tag number on it. So that's always cool when we can help people when dealing with those kind of problems.
So for someone that would want to get into product marketing, what's your advice for them to prepare for that type of a role?
So I think that one of the important things, start in marketing. You need to understand the market. You need to have a true understanding of people. And depending on the area that you want to go into, product marketing, you can do it in tech, and you can do it in other areas, depending on the area that you feel passionate about. Kind of be a learner, like learn the business, learn the competition landscape, gather information. And you can always, start first as in a marketing role, which is normally a less technical role. And then, then you can eventually grow into product marketing if you have that kind of if you have that kind of tech savvy, way, and you're interested in it and you're willing to like learn. So that would be my suggestion.
So would you recommend any kind of basic technical training to be able to better understand the product?
Look, because the landscape is so broad, like there's an endless amount of courses and things that you can kind of learn. But I think depending on the product that you feel, I think that a person should go into product marketing in a product that they feel passionate about, because once you feel passionate about it, you can learn, and then you can do the research. Like just starting taking like courses, technical courses, you can do that, but I would think that the better route would be to kind of decide what kind of products you're interested in. So if cyber is let's say is something that you're interested in, then you can take like beginners courses, or I don't know, IT management or something to understand like uh, the landscape, the flow of things, and understand the world, the terminology. There's so many things that you need to kind of learn. Um, and then as you go on and you understand what products in tech more interest you, then you can continue learning, but you need to be really kind of know where you want to see yourself in 5 or 6 or 7 years, like what kind of company you want to work in or what kind of products you want to market. And then I would suggest going and learning and researching around the relevant courses. That would be my suggestion.
So that kind of makes sense when you think about it. Say, for instance, someone is really good at using Microsoft Office and they understand that really well. Then this person, would have probably the technical skills that they would need to be like a work in product marketing for Microsoft on that product.
If they think that if they have a passion for Microsoft Office, and they're willing to do the kind of learn and look at the landscape, and kind of, and they see themselves understanding like why this product is better and what features in this product are more useful to the user, and if they understand the customer base, and if after doing all of that research, they feel like, yeah, this is my niche, this is what I love, and this is what I'm passionate about, then yeah, definitely, of course. I think that, if you set your mind to something, then I truly believe that anything is possible. Because again, I didn't come from a technical background whatsoever. I started in sales, and then I went into marketing, and then I ended up in product marketing. And I've done products like Dittos, and now with Hyver, and different Checkpoint and 40 products. So with absolutely no technical background, it's just at the end of the day, it's how passionate are you about what you're doing, and if you're passionate, you'll learn it. You'll make sure the material.
And for clarification to the listeners, when I gave the example of Microsoft Office, I'm not saying go out and learn Microsoft Office to get a job with Microsoft, just kind of demonstrating the tech depth that you need to know of the products. And another, I guess, a good way to explain how technical you need to be in that role is project managers. They manage technical projects, but they're not always someone that's has a lot of experience in tech. They understand how projects work and kind of the way you've worked around technology and learned from about the technology on the job, and you apply that to your new role. So just kind of showing the listeners the depth that they really need to know when pursuing that type of role.
Yeah, so you have to know your product at the end of the day. One of the other roles that we didn't really touch base on was with the sales. Another kind of bridge that you would call it for the PMM would be, kind of also enabling the sales and taking the feedback that the sales provide and bringing it back to the product and marketing, and kind of, being the advocate for the product when in sales. So you need to know it in a technical way, that you need to be able to know it, maybe not as much as an engineer, but you need to know it much better than on a high level, so that you can explain the technical benefits. You need to explain the technical differences between the product and the advantages of the product and how the product works. And some use us on more in-depth meetings to kind of be demonstrate or give demos on the product. So yeah, you have to be really in-depth when it comes to the technicalities of the product.
Very cool. Well, we're getting down towards the end of the show. Is there anything you'd like to share before we close out?
No, I just think that if product marketing is something that you feel passionate about, then my suggestion would be to make like a plan, make a goal, and at the end and start thinking of ways that you can work towards your like end goal. I think that's something that I did. I decided that I wanted to work in a certain type of company with certain types of products, and then, I kind of imagine the steps that I will need to take in my career in order to get to where I want to go. So, I might leave you with something, that sounds kind of cheesy, but anything's possible. Like, if a certain type of role interests you, and it doesn't matter what it is, and if you're willing to work at it, then you'll get there.
Great advice. I think a lot of times we get in our way sometime of doing what we want to do because we don't think we can do it. And that's good advice to try it. So thanks for joining. It was great having you on the show.
It was great being here. Thank you so much.
Thanks everyone. And we'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you for listening to The Philip Wiley Show. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. In the meantime, to learn more about Philip, go to thehackermaker.com and connect with him on LinkedIn and Twitter @Philip Wiley. Until next time.